everyone. Welcome to Connections for Life. I'm Ted P.
I'm Chad Chipmunk.
What do you think? You're the chunky one.
Yeah,
one. There he is.
I had to hide him. I didn't want you to think he was there.
You actually look just like him.
Wow. No, you don't. He doesn't have glasses. He doesn't have glasses.
Take the glasses off. Now you look just like him.
You actually look like one of the girl chipmunks.
Oh,
I want to be
the Chipettes.
Why is I'm so?
I want to be David Seville so I can yell Alvin all the time.
Alvin.
That was my theme for this morning. I thought it was creative.
It was creative.
Homage to the chipmunks. Look at that.
It's good to be back, boys. I missed you guys while I was dying.
Yeah. We didn't tell everybody what was wrong with you. We just said you weren't feeling well.
Yeah,
I didn't want to violate any. I didn't want to violate any HIPAA laws.
I commented on it. I'm like, I'm here, guys. I'm watching.
I know. I did see that.
Yeah, I saw that.
So,
because I said I don't know if Ted actually watches these.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, it's good to have you back, buddy.
So you're on location, Joe. What's going on in your world, buddy? You're like me. You're moving around and shaking.
Yeah, well, I don't know. This week, Chad and I went to visit some customers. We drove 1.5 million miles.
Well, you drove 1.5 miles. I drove like 250,000.
Yeah. But no, it was good. We were down in Kentucky and Cincinnati, and now I'm up near I don't know where I am. Oh, Canton. I'm in Canton, Ohio. So headed home. I think you forget. Yeah, I'm kind of slowly rolling home, but yeah, it was good. It was nice to see customers. Got into a couple. Actually, we're able to go to a few utilities and go to their premise and have a conversation. So it was nice.
Yeah, it was interesting. One of the highlights of the week for me was going to an absolutely sold out baseball game, professional baseball game. Go ahead, Joe. Sold out.
But it was like not professional. Like it wasn't like the MLB.
It was the Louisville Bats. I'm not even sure they have to be AAA, but it was 100% capacity for the first time since 2019 and the first time since COVID that everybody was allowed in. To put it this way, also their special Ted was dollar concessions. So hot dogs were $1. Everything in concession was $1. Wow. There was 5,000 people in line.
How many glizzies did Joe eat?
There were no one watched the game. Everybody was getting hot dogs. Like it was crazy.
Joe went to the bathroom. I thought he was never coming back.
I didn't think I was either. I was like, oh, it's right there. I was gone for like 45 minutes. It was just to get through the crowd of people. But also interestingly enough, right next to the baseball game was a Styx and Coldplay concert that was out on the riverfront. So we could watch the baseball game and listen to Styx and Coldplay.
Don't get excited though. I fell asleep at 9:30 and got woke up to the fireworks from the baseball game because I thought the world was ending. It was next door. But
it was fun. It was good. It was nice to get out. It was nice. Yeah. It was beautiful weather, thankfully, so can't complain. But
are you better? How'd your week go?
So honestly, I had COVID. I was quarantined.
Tell them what I told you, Teddy.
I don't remember.
When you said you had COVID, I said that was so 2020.
Oh yeah. That's right.
You got it. That's like old news, Ted.
Yeah. So honestly, I was okay. I had a slight little cough, but the thing that was really crazy is I'm a guy who only sleeps like 4, maybe 5 hours a night total ever, and the fatigue was crazy for me. Like I would fall asleep at like midnight and wake up at 9:30, 10 a.m.
Wow.
And it was like, what happened to me? And my body had body ache.
Your body needed rest.
Like fold a load of laundry, I'd have to take a 2.5 hour nap.
Wow.
Well, in the laundry's defense, that's probably like not a movement you normally achieve. Or do.
The laundry's defense.
Yeah.
So you may use some muscles you don't normally use. So maybe that's why you're so tired.
So hey, enough chitter chatter, I guess. Who do we have on this week?
This week, Ted, we have Jeff Ogborn from South Jersey Industries. Man, Jeff is so much fun to talk to. I feel like I've known Jeff for 15 years, and I've talked to him, I think, 3 times on the computer. Him and I have a ton of stuff in common, especially in the hockey lineage. We could probably talk about that for 5 minutes. But Jeff's been in the industry for about 20 years, I believe, somewhere right around there. And he kind of got into it by a fluke. It'll be more fun for you to listen to him talk about it. But yeah, I think
That's awesome.
And Teddy wasn't around when we interviewed. He was
Oh,
still
yeah.
on his
I was on my
COVID
deathbed
hiatus.
still.
Yeah, so this will be the first time he sees this too.
I'm watching it I'll watch it live. Every other
And
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I got Jeff's title correct, just because he's got a bunch of them. But Jeff is the manager of emergency preparedness, compliance and standards. So it's pretty interesting conversation, but there was no way I could remember all that. So I had to look it up.
Wow.
No.
Okay. Well, without further ado, welcome to Connections for Life, Jeff Ogborn.
Welcome to Connections for Life, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hanging in there.
Good.
How are you?
Good.
I get to see you twice in 2 weeks.
I know it's crazy. After 15 months of
Right.
being
Yeah.
sequestered.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to get to have some dinner and drinks with Jeff last week down in South Jersey. So it was good to see you in person. It's nice to be out and about again.
Yep.
But
100%.
enough about us. Let's just get you started where we get everybody going. How'd you get started? I know most people it's not conventionally, but how did you get started in this industry?
Yeah, it's funny. The economy, really. I was the first part of my adult career, I guess you could say it was sort of adult. I was in the ski industry. Then I realized I had to make money.
You had to be an adult.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but so I went into my the area of that my degree was in, and I was a consultant, a civil engineering consultant for the first half of my career, I guess, my real career. And then 2008, the economy started to tank, and the company I was working for was really heavily vested in development work. And things were starting to get tight, layoffs and all that. So I was looking for a job, not actively, but I came across the posting somewhere, probably on the internet, and it was for a job at South Jersey Gas in the design group. And it kind of looked like everything I was doing as a consultant, but at a utility. So I applied, I got the job, and I guess like they say, the rest is history. I've kind of been in the industry now for about 13 years. Started in engineering, went into operations for a bit, back to engineering, and now I'm in my current role in compliance standards and emergency preparedness. Not what I thought I would be doing.
That kind of rolls into my next question was, how did you get to the emergency preparedness part? And we talked a little bit about this before.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun story.
So yeah,
I guess you could call it fun.
Well, so I guess around 2017, the company reorganized, and I was the manager of the engineering group. And they had this, like I said, reorganized. They created a department, compliance and standards. So I reluctantly applied for it because I was essentially told that I should.
Yeah,
Kind of
you're
had
gonna
to
get it no matter what you want.
Exactly.
The voluntold.
So I had been involved in standards writing really before I even joined the gas company. I wrote specs and things as a consultant. I was uncomfortable with it, but it was something that needed to be done. So I took the job. We went crazy. We rewrote all the standards for South Jersey Gas, and then I guess in 2018 we acquired Elizabethtown Gas, and we sort of started over. Now we're in the process of
I have a quick question right in regards to that. When did you finish writing the South Jersey standards, and how long did Elizabethtown happen afterwards, and you had to kind of almost start all over?
We really weren't done yet. What we had done was we digitized them. They were, I mean, these things were typewritten. They were old. Some of them were from the 70s. So we digitized them, and we were in the process of updating them. Thank God we weren't behind, in terms of code compliance or anything like that.
That's good.
But as we were getting our feet under us, it was announced that we were acquiring Elizabethtown and Elkton, which we subsequently sold. But so we never really got set. So it's been a work in progress, but it's been great. Both companies have been really cooperative and collaborative, and it's I hate to say fun when you talk about work, but it's been fun. I mean, it's like I said, it's not something I wanted to get into, but it's been great. You asked me about emergency preparedness.
Yeah.
So how I got that was a funny story. It was something that I was involved with probably 2 or 3 years into my career at South Jersey Gas. I was added to what we call GOP, Gas Emergency Operations, and I filled different roles, mostly in operations, engineering. At one point, I was elevated, I guess you could say, to one of the chiefs of staff, and it was pretty much my third or fourth job. It wasn't my primary focus, and it was something that always bothered me because I felt like it really needed to be a full-time job. Somebody needed to be focused on it. So I talked a lot with our leadership, and in 2019, I remember it vividly. It was a Monday morning. I got called up to the president's office with my boss, and he said, "I want you to write a proposal to create an emergency preparedness department." So I did, and it got approved. We budgeted for it for 2020, and in 2020 we added to my kind of world emergency preparedness. And about this time last year, we hired a full-time lead, and now we just hired a specialist. So we are, we went from 0 to 100 in about a year and a half.
That's awesome.
And we're doing great things.
Really
I'm
good.
excited about it. I sleep better knowing that we're well covered now.
That's great.
That's funny. You got your emergency preparedness team together right before the pandemic.
First hire that I've ever done remotely, and I've only met the guy in person once in over a year. So soon
Wow.
we'll be back in the office, but we talk every day.
With that being said, do you guys have plans of reopening and getting people back in the office?
We are doing what we'll call a voluntary soft reopening starting in a couple weeks, where vaccinated people can go into the office, but we have a company-wide reopening scheduled for September 20th.
Okay.
So just going through sort of making sure all the plumbing works, everything in the office works now through September. And then in September, hopefully we'll all be back in, to some extent, probably, never full occupancy, or not never, but not for a little while full occupancy.
So you kind of touched on it, and I'm deviating from the questions that we had talked about, but what like for you, obviously you manage a group, you have a lot of different tentacles and a lot of things there at South Jersey. What have been the big challenges for you guys, or you specifically, during all this? Has there been something that's just been like really difficult, and it's been the hardest thing that you've had to try to accomplish?
I will tell you honestly, the thing that was hardest was trusting that people were going to work when you're not hovering over them. And it's been a great experience because I learned a lot about me. I'm old school. I was raised where, thinking that if you're not at your desk, you're not working, and you guys are on the road, so it's different, but
We're never working.
yeah, right, exactly. I mean, that's sort of the old school mentality, and what I learned is, well, I'm not a micromanager to begin with. I like to lay back, but at the same time, I like to reach out and touch and walk over to somebody's desk. So we were using Skype in March 2020 and then transitioned to Teams. My team probably had their most productive year in 2020 and through 2021 because there was a flexibility, right?
Sure.
People weren't wasting 2 hours driving back and forth to the office. They spent a portion of that time at their computer working. We accomplished a ton in the last 15 months.
It's kind of what happened with us, right, Joe? I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's a great point, because I think you're not alone. When this all started, even our organization was like, how are we supposed to do this when people can't be in the building? Like, how do we function?
Right.
And I think that giving people the opportunity to be responsible without having to make them be responsible was a really big eye-opening thing, that people given the opportunity to be at home and not have the commute or not have that, that hour lunch period, people ended up working more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you were more accessible. Everything you needed was in your home, and you could actually at 10 o'clock at night, if you couldn't sleep,
Exactly.
back out some work. And I find that really unique. And it's interesting to me. And this was going to roll into my next question. I've seen a lot of companies, I'm not going to say gas utility, but I'm going to say companies in general have started to reduce their footprint because of that. They've thought that, while we used to have 100 people in the building, we maybe only need a fraction of that, and we can actually move into a smaller facility and reduce our costs and our expenditures. Is that been something that your organization has discussed, or something?
It's been discussed in terms of flexibility, but frankly, and I don't know all the ins and outs, but as you guys know, I think, Joe, at least I think you've been to our building in Atlantic City. It's brand new.
Right.
I don't think we can just say, oh, we're gonna mothball this thing. And so there's a lot of things that the flexibility affords people an opportunity to kind of stretch out their workday. I don't see a future where you're going to miss a kid's, play at school because you have work.
Right.
You can do that and work around it. People yesterday, for instance, I had somebody that wanted to go to a graduation. They left at 2, were back at 4, and they worked till 6. It's that kind of thing. There is no substitute, as you guys know. I mean, you have the business you're in, you have to demo things, you have to touch things, so that part's been tough through the pandemic. Maybe getting stuff shipped to your house to look at, then you ship it back to the manufacturer, the rep or whatever. So I mean, I feel like the future is a hybrid of what we used to know. And face-to-face collaboration, you said we just had dinner last week, that's a little bit different than having a call where you're sitting on a camera talking.
Yeah, but it's better. You can't replace that. And I think that was my biggest thing, going through all this is, and I love that you said that hybrid model, because, or that people don't have to miss their son's play or a kid's baseball game because they have to be at work. But I also want to say that that's also, there's some really good byproducts of this pandemic.
I agree.
And I think that's one, there's a lot of silver linings. I know for me personally, I've spent a ton more time with my kids. I've been more engaged and more involved in their lives than I ever would have been able to be before. And I really appreciate that. Yep. I think it's also a credit to people like yourself and managers that understand that have able to say, look, we need to adapt and we need to adopt some new practices. I've seen a couple companies, honestly, that have changed it, that you have to be in the work in work 1 week a month, and you guys and just figure it out, so everybody can kind of move things around, and allows them to be so much more flexible. So I don't know, kudos to you guys for realizing that.
Well, it's really not me. It was the company really supported us through this, and
we're talking to you, so you get to take
credit. But the company was fantastic. I mean, I think I mentioned to you last week, we didn't. And likewise, you guys didn't lay anybody off. Nobody had to miss a paycheck. It's
amazing.
We all know people that were out of work, unemployment, all this other stuff. And we transitioned like that on March 13th of 2020. Somehow the IT department pulled it off, and we've been working like this for 15 months. So
I was actually at one of your facilities on March 13th. The day that you guys turned it off, I was actually at the facility doing it.
That's pretty wild. Back to the wonderful world and exciting world of standards. I guess I just, I know from going through it, I've been in this industry over 20 years, and I've seen it so many times, the mergers and the acquisitions and things like that, and the pie in the sky dreams of some people taking 5 to 7 states and trying to all use the same products and things like that. What are the challenges you guys have faced with the merger with Elizabethtown? Because I assume they used a lot of different things than you guys do, like every other utility.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, it was a little dicey when we had Elkton, because that was Maryland and Delaware. We only had to deal with that for about a year or so, and then we sold them. But I'd say consistency and buy-in. South Jersey gas had never been bought or sold. So South Jersey sort of status quo. Elizabethtown had been acquired a few times.
Right.
They've been through it. They're a little bit more used to this, but I think finding consistency and buy-in, we're in the process of creating a harmonized plan that we're gonna use for both companies. So standards, probably it's hard because there's a lot of writing, merging, taking the stuff that
Imagine.
maybe the other companies that owned Elizabethtown had enforced or included, and then sort of merging. So there's a little give and take from both companies. We're taking some of the best practice from Elizabethtown, some of the best practices from South Jersey. We're sort of molding them together. The collaboration though has been really great. I mean, getting both companies to communicate with one another, learn from one another, it's really good. The two businesses talk all the time, and a lot of it's with us and standards and compliance group, but a lot of it's just natural collaboration. So it's been great building the relationships at Elizabethtown and being able to learn from their experiences that are somewhat different from South Jersey.
I've seen, gas utilities multiple times have to, they get bought or sold, have to do that standardization. I think it's really kind of unique maybe to have people that are so willing to be open.
Yeah.
I was going to say that. I mean, we've all sat in a room with 40 people from a utility that all 40 people have completely different
absolutely
opinions,
Yeah, absolutely. and that's kind of the thing. It's like, all right, we all have our own personalities, we all have our own opinions, but kind of checking them at the door and being able to South Jersey is a little bit bigger than Elizabethtown, but they're, for all intents and purposes, they're about the same. Footprint's a little bit different because Elizabethtown sort of you got two different areas,
Sure.
Newark area and then up in the Northwest, but it's been really a great experience. It was tense at the beginning, you didn't know what you were getting into, but after everybody started to learn one another and work together, it's been really good.
That says something for you guys, and it says something for South Jersey. I have to say that because I've seen it. It's still going on. I've been dealing with some companies for 5 or 6 years that have been trying to just even figure out what wire connector they want to use. It's crazy.
Right.
That is like they've been talking about it for 5 years.
Well, we do, it's that happens at every utility. I think it's just, you're never going to get everybody on the same page, but it's been a lot less stressful than I thought. And I'll say this, I think executive management, when we brought Elizabethtown in, it wasn't we just bought you, it's you're part of the family now, and that's
cool.
sort of been the scenario. It wasn't we own you,
Sure.
You're gonna do as we say. It's like I said, the collaboration and harmony's thrown around a lot, harmonizing plans, and so that's kind of the approach we take. It's collaborative, I would say.
Very neat and unique.
Yeah. Well, it's the first time I've been through this, so I don't know any different. So this is all I know.
You're pro level now.
Yeah, right.
But hey, we won't keep it. We could probably talk to you forever because I know Chad and I have a million questions. But one of the things that I always like to ask, not always, but we do sometimes, and I think you probably have a cool answer. I don't know the answer to this for everybody that's watching. We haven't heard it. For you personally, being in your career, and you've had a couple, right? You were in consulting and you were a professional or something with skiing, right?
Yeah.
For all those you don't know, that was like snow skiing. That wasn't like water skiing, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
right.
both. I don't know.
I think you would have said water skiing if you used water skiing.
I don't know. I'm just clarifying. I want everybody to know.
Cold weather.
Jeff
Cold
was
weather.
jumping off of those whatever the ponds. I don't know. But
now you live at the beach.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, he lives near the water. I don't know. I'm just going. But
That's true.
Jeff, what's your proudest achievement in your career? And again, it doesn't have to be in the gas industry, but just one thing that you hang your hat on.
Well, listen, obviously I probably forgot a lot of my history, so it's got to be current. And I would say what we were just talking about. I think the tentativeness I had coming into this current role, I was not looking forward to it, but hindsight, being able to create a department kind of from scratch and build it from the ground floor, it's been excellent. And, having the support above, below, alongside me, I think was great. And, that made it way, way easier. But, I can't take credit. It's the team I have around me, but I happen to be able to, or I guess be fortunate enough to really be able to build a pretty strong team. And, together we've built a company that's, in my opinion, very high performing. And I think others in my company would agree. So,
it certainly says something, Jeff, for as a manager there, and you certainly don't. It doesn't sound like you have a problem surrounding yourself with people that are really smart and really good people, and that says something about you too.
And Chad, that's something that our president told me one day. He said, I used to have one-on-ones with him and like career, whatever we called it, executive mentorship. He was honest and said, I don't know everything. I surround myself with people that do.
I had somebody that told me that very early in my career.
One in the room. I just have to have the people underneath.
Exactly.
Harder than I am. Gotcha. Because there's a difference between being a manager and leader than there is just a boss. And
listen, I've evolved a lot over the past 10, 15 years, where I used to feel like I had to know everything. I had to be an expert. I can't, you can't. No. There's just no way you can do that. So having the people, and it's multiple people that are subject matter experts in each, area that make us all better. So, I would have never thought I'd be in the role I'm in early in my career. I was an engineer. I was gonna, change the world, I guess. But I guess we are. I mean, I say it this way to my team all the time. We're literally touching every part of the business in what we do. Emergency preparedness, that's obvious, but standards. Yeah. I mean, we're setting the foundation for everybody from engineering to operations, and then compliance. We're making sure that everybody's on point, with their business. Yep.
Well, like I said, we can keep you forever. I'll let you get back to your real job.
Thanks.
Thanks for gracing us with your presence today. We really appreciate it. As always, it's great talking with you. It was great to see you last week.
Yep.
I think one of the coolest things that we get to do on this show is, Jeff, I really didn't know you prior to, connections really. And we kind of passed, we had a few meetings here and there, but it's kind of neat to get to know people personally and consider them friends. And I just want to say thank you for allowing, the time to come do this with us. And, we look forward to seeing you and seeing what South Jersey is going to do. I'll speak from my experience with you guys is that you're a great organization.
I agree.
It's been great to work with. You have a lot of great people. We were fortunate enough to be down there doing some training last week with a couple of your guys and a bunch of your crew guys, and just really salt of the earth, good people. So keep up the good work, and
thanks.
We'll see.
Absolutely. And I wanted to say thank you too as well. And we'll keep touching base about the hockey stuff. Since
absolutely.
Jeff has
a whole other show.
That is a whole nother show, actually.
If our kids go somewhere, we can have a show on.
Yeah, absolutely. On the mess of youth hockey. We can talk about the mess of youth hockey.
All right. Well, we'll see you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Jeff. Seriously.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Well, I normally would say great interview, Jeff, and I learned so much, but I haven't seen it yet. So I'm going to lean towards, since I wasn't there, it's probably in the average range.
Yeah.
Only because, of my.
So we're up for that. So we're going to be up for this week, then.
Yeah. It's going to be above our normal standards, the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chad. You want to say something?
Yeah. Jeff's so much fun to talk to. Just kind of like an open book, and kind of, the lineage of how he kind of got the job in emergency preparedness and all that stuff is just a really neat story. And it's pretty inspirational, actually, how he grabbed it by the horns. He's the right team, surrounded himself with the right people. It's all really good stuff. And he's awesome, either way.
Yeah.
I didn't meet him.
It was a great interview. I actually was able to have lunch or dinner with Jeff the week prior to actually taping. So it was cool to see him and get back out there and, just kind of be normal, Yeah. So it was interesting. It's nice. Jeff's a really, like Chad said, good guy. He's really down to earth and creative. And I don't know, he's just somebody that's as Chad said, I think earlier in the intro, we didn't really know Jeff that well coming into COVID, and now I feel like we kind of have a new friend. So it's really it's a nice situation.
That's one of my favorite things about this show, and
Yeah.
you know, the root of it being connections and whatnot is, but it's really that, you know, there's a lot of folks that we've built relationships with that we've never physically met in person.
100%.
So yeah,
Lots of them, actually.
if you think Jim and James, for me personally, Jim and James, we've done so much stuff with them, and I've never physically met
And I've
them.
still never met James.
Yeah,
I haven't either. I never have either.
it was funny on LinkedIn the other day. There was a post that James was in, and he was like standing in a group.
I saw that. Yeah.
And I was like, that's what the bottom half of James looks like.
I've never seen this.
Oh, that's funny.
You know, I was
Yeah.
dying about it. So
That's
Yeah.
funny.
I think a lot of people probably feel that way about us too, right? You don't get
Yeah,
to see anything other than we're just like from quarter of our body up, right?
yeah.
Most people don't know how like Chad's like actually like a huge muscle guy.
Him and the Arnold worked out together.
I'm
That's
shaped like a dreidel.
Chad's 6'6". I'm shaped like a dreidel. Anyways, moving on. I did want to talk about this week. Chad and I were traveling together, and normally I post a gas fact, right? So I didn't post one. Was that Tuesday? Was it Tuesday that we did that?
I don't know.
Right? I think it was Tuesday. Anyways, I didn't post one this week because I didn't have anything at my fingertips. So on my phone, I was like, I just posted like, what's everybody's favorite like coffee place, Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, whatever.
America runs on Dunkin', baby.
It's been 2 days, about 48 hours since I posted it. And I have over like 11,000 views. And I think it's so funny because if I posted anything about gas, like I might get 2,000 views, but I posted about coffee, and it's just a silly poll, and like almost 12,000 views.
How many comments did you have? At one point you had like 27.
I'm at like 40 now, I think. 40 comments. No one's ever talks to me, right? But there's actually people like arguing about what the better coffee is on the
Think
thing.
about this now. So that just goes to show, like we talk about how like we are part of like the greatest industry nobody knows anything about. I had to pull my quote back up because I wrote it down. But like that shows that right
buried
there.
in your water tank.
No, I have. This is the other half of my desk right here. You can't see.
It's credenza.
The credenza. But like we talk about how small the industry is, and you know, it doesn't seem that way, but just with like comments on a post, like we're speaking to such a finite group of people, but then when you change the subject to something as broad and as wide as coffee, you know.
Well, I think it's like not many people vote or do the gas polls really because they don't know the answer, right? It's like, I'm just gonna guess, but everybody can tell you what their favorite coffee place is. Everybody has an opinion about that. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. Chad and I was like, I'm gonna just post something about coffee, and he was like, yeah, do it. So I did. And then we looked like an hour later, and I had like 1,200 people that already did it. I was like, I guess what I'm trying to tell you guys. What I'm trying to tell you guys is that I'm no longer doing gas facts. I'm just doing coffee facts.
I just didn't think you had one at your fingertips today either. So that was your gas fact of the day.
No, I do. I have one. It's not a big one. It's just a silly one.
So does that mean
it's that time? Gas fact.
Gas facts.
Gas fact.
Wow.
We've been doing that for like 30 weeks. I mean, you can't just stop here.
Stop doing it.
I think you need to have a new picture though.
Yeah.
No,
that's
cool.
that float in or fly in one.
That's the one. We can go back and forth.
Wrestler pictures.
Anyways, so you guys know what mercaptan is, right?
Yeah, it's the stuff that makes natural gas smell.
Yeah, no, it's actually what I say when I'm at the bar. Mercaptan, get it?
Wow!
Wow, that was great.
Wow, that was well played, but
I just thought of that. Oh, it's terrible. Terrible.
That's
terrible.
A dad joke right there. That's
a dad joke, yeah. But only for people that know what captain is. It wouldn't be that funny otherwise.
Captain.
Anyways, it's also known as, I'm not going to pronounce this right, but it's called methanethiol. I don't know. It's methanethiol. You guys can try to pronounce that.
I almost went singing the Method Man song from the Tank Clan. THOT.
Okay, please stop with the Method Man keepers. Anyways, it's a foul smelling gas that's added to natural gas. It's colorless and odorless. We all know that. Mercaptan basically is in gas lines to make it easier for it to be detected. If it's leaking, people can smell it. It has the thing that I found was really interesting though, is that it's an organic gas. So it's composed of carbon, hydrogen, and sulfur. That's the only three things that are in mercaptan. And it's also found naturally in living organisms, including our own bodies, which is a waste product of metabolism. So I thought that was pretty cool, right? It's
I'm trying to understand it.
Yeah, you should Google it. It's kind of interesting. So the reason that they use mercaptan, though, is that it's such a strong odor, and the compounds are detectable by human nose at concentrations as small as 10 parts per billion, which is really right.
Wow.
So natural gas distribution began adding mercaptan to natural gas. Let me see here. That's on my thing. After a deadly school explosion in 1937 at the New London School in New London, Texas. So thought that was kind of neat. So in 1937, that's
It
when that
seems
started.
really late. I mean,
I know, that's what I thought too. Like before that, they were like, I guess. I
yeah,
don't know.
well, it might be okay.
Yeah. I don't smell anything.
So many mercaptans have foul odors, but there are exceptions. There are mercaptans like grapefruit mercaptan is responsible for the characteristic scent of grapefruit. So mercaptan is not necessarily just that smell. It's an organic gas that's composed of things.
Wouldn't it be so much cooler if gas leaks smelled just like a strong grapefruit? Hey, if you smell strong grapefruit, there's a gas leak. I'd be like,
until you're eating grapefruit and you freak yourself out in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
What is that? What is that? Oh, just Tina's eating grapefruit.
Yeah, Tina got a grapefruit.
Tina got a grapefruit out this
Call
morning.
off the fire department. Cancel the call. Anyways, I just thought that was unique. It was a little different, talking about something. I was reading about it this morning, and I didn't know much of that. So I thought
that was one of your best ones, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, me too. I sat here kind of like we did in one interview and was like,
and I just thought they added it for you. They just thought they added mercaptan to your diet.
Well, that's
awesome. Some mercaptan and
I'll never forget that.
No, that was honest. I'm going to use that joke.
Yeah.
For those of the people that don't know me, I only drink Captain and Diet Coke. Like if I'm out at a bar or restaurant, I'll have the Captain and Diet. So the mercaptan was me saying mercaptan.
I'm just impressed you made it up yourself.
I did that quick too. Yeah. I'm firing all cylinders today, boys. I'm ready to go. I'm back out and about.
You better leave too.
Yeah. Speaking of getting ready to go,
I know. I gotta get home so we can
record another.
So I can record at 2:00. Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, Teddy, I just want to say it's nice to have you back. It was weird doing interviews without you. Like honestly,
we argued over who was going to talk first.
We didn't really argue. I said I wasn't going to do it, and then he did.
But the small little things that I do are some semblance of important. Only because
stop. Enough. You don't have to pat your own back. All right. We were giving it to you already. It's just come on. Just say thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, man. I have another, sir.
Say thank you. This is like the worst lighting. I'm usually like really far away from the camera, so I feel like my head is.
You look like
now.
You look like you're back in your first studio when we first started this.
Yeah, upstairs.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, except there's a fire alarm.
Yeah. Hey, it's not like the fire alarm in Rochester, Joe. So
we don't need to talk about that. That's a different show.
Different time. Folks,
all right,
thank you so much for joining us. Remember to click like, subscribe, share, follow, comment, all the stuff that we ask you to do every week. And we'll be back at you soon. Thanks, guys.